Hello, people. I've just been thinking really. I mean, what time is it in the morning? It's like 10, 11, 12, I think. And I've been thinking recently about well, how people aren't really satisfied with friendship. Kind of. I mean, I don't know if I've known how it works really, because I've always loved being friends with people, but just I've always loved just like being friends with people and then going out and doing things with people. I've never really had friends who wanted to go out a lot. I've had one friend that basically the perfect friend. I imagine, unfortunately, that's the person I'm measuring all other friendships up to. But you should be able to go out with friends and do things and not kind of fall out and people try and correct you and put you right and tell you what to do. You should be able to have friends that don't do that, like, without having to worry about those types of things. And that's what my friendship seems to be at the moment. People like that. And then I do it back to them because I'm just like, well, I'm not gonna let you just walk all over me. And I don't want that friendship to be like that, but it's just the type of people I'm made friends with, I guess. But yeah, I've just been thinking about the people who I tried to get back in contact with and they just kind of like ignored me or said there's no good way to contact them when, to be honest, living in the modern day world, to be an active part of it, you need to have like some way that people can contact you. Not just be like, other people have trouble contacting me as well. And I'm just like, well, maybe you should solve that problem. Or it's just a lie and an excuse to like just not see you again, which sounds more likely, to be honest, the amount of times it's been used. I will find my way. I can go the distance. I'll be there someday. If I can be strong. But if I die before then, people won't even care. That rhymed. Then and can. Rhymed 100%. I will go most anywhere to feel like I belong. Yeah, I would. I have no attachment to here anymore. Another problem with this is like projects and stuff where like or ideas to do things, and then you're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's carry on with it. And then certain people are just like, well, seems a bit hard then, so we won't do it. Then we won't do anything. And I'm just like, what's the point in coming up with ideas with you if you just never want to do them? One thing that I seem to notice quite often as well is like, in films they have like main characters and side characters and everything. I'm always like that side character that's just in everyone's life. I'm always just that side character. And people don't really seem to care about. I don't think of anyone in my life as being the main character. Don't even think of me being the main character. The only thing that makes a main character is if you have a group and that group is the main character. It's just for me, and I don't believe this about everyone. It's just me. I don't feel that a lot of things are worth doing unless you're doing it with someone. I don't care who. I don't care if you're having sex with them. I don't, as in like you don't need to be in a relationship with them. Just be friends and stuff. There's not much point in doing many things unless you do it with other people, because then you've got that kind of like memories and there was a point to actually doing it. And like say watching films in the cinema, I would go and watch so many films in the cinema but with other people, because I don't mind spending the money and going to the cinema and having a good time. But if it's just me and myself, I'll wait till it's like a few years later when that film is like £3, £4, £5. Because I'd spend like £10 to go to the cinema, but I wouldn't spend £10 on a DVD where I'm just watching it on my own. Just I'm paying for the experience, not for a copy. I did used to say, I was like, why would you go out and do things when and spend money on drinks and stuff when you can buy things? Like, think of all the things that I have and how much money I've invested into things, and you're just out spending money on drinks and stuff. And I wasn't fully wrong, but I was half wrong. Like, people do spend way too much money on drinks, and if I go out and I'm drinking, I don't drink much. I probably spend about £10 on drinks, maybe 20. When people are spending like £100, I'm just like, oh, what are you drinking? Are you drinking gold or something? Like, like with everything, it's the balance thing, isn't it? There needs to be a balance, but no, I have shit. Almost knocked the water over. But now I have no one to do stuff with. Yay! basically there were two friends. There's one friend that I tried hard with, and they had a few like mental health problems, and I tried hard to like meet up with them and things, and after a while, like you want them to say no if they don't want to meet up, you want them to say no, but you don't want them to lie and say things like your mum's ill or something like that. Because if my mum was ill and someone asked if I wanted to go over and I needed to look after my mum, I would say my mum's ill at the moment. I need to look after her. Do you want to come here? Like. Because I still want to meet up with people. But if I needed to be here for my mum, I would need to be here. But after a while, when people keep saying no, you're just like, I know you have a problem that means that you will keep saying no, that you want to go out, but your mind's telling you can't go out. But after a while, just say no. Say yes. I don't know, because if you can't help it, it's difficult. But on the receiving end of it, it's very difficult. Being told no all the time, because you're just like, well, I know you don't mean it like this, but your mind obviously doesn't want to be with me enough that it overcomes things like it's hard to be pushed away and now you're being pushed away. Um, so that was one friend. With another friend, it was always me asking if he wanted to come over or if I wanted to go over there, and you after a while you're just like, why are you never asking if I want to come over, if you can come over here? It just feels like you're doing it because I've asked, not because you want to do it. And you Another thing that happened with me was I was never invited to things like house parties and things. I was never invited to that type of thing. Like, I would have gone and I would have had that type of lifestyle. I was never asked to go. Like, not even one, I don't think. So, if I'd have had that introduction to it, I would have done that, and I would have loved it. I would have had fun. Because I'm the type of person who has fun for the sake of having fun. Because what's the point in life if you're not going to have fun or feel good or laugh? Even if it's something stupid, I want to do it because then this is like the memory of doing that stupid thing that you did. If it's hurting someone, no. But if it's potentially hurting yourself and it's not fatal, I suppose it's okay. Because, I mean, you need to take some risks. But, yeah, this friend never really. But, yeah, I wish I'd been invited, really, and I was waiting. I was always waiting for someone to invite me. And another thing that I'm annoyed with myself at, but I couldn't help it, was I work very slowly. So at high school, I always had to like do work and things at lunchtime, and people would be playing on games and going out into the yard, and I would have to focus on my work because I worked slowly, so I would have to like continue on with it. And when we'd say have like a 15-minute break, for a long time I'd be like, well, to pack up and get all your stuff out and go to the yard takes like 5 minutes. And then they want you to be at the lesson beforehand, so before the lesson starts, so before the 15 minutes is up. So that's 5 minutes off either end. And so then you have a 5-minute break, and there's no point in going down to the yard, which is like a minute or two away, when you're just going to be there for that short amount of time. Especially when the clocks are different, so that they end the break early on the yard because the clocks are different or something like that. But I did realise later on that I should have really been going down to the yard, and that's when the GCSEs were in full effect. So then I couldn't go down into the yard, but there was a group of people I wanted to be friends with. Like, they didn't live too far away, but I feel like that was what affected me by not getting a car. I mean, I might have been able to like join in and do things with them at that point. And also, moving on to college, loads of these people went to like sixth form and I went to the tech college. So they're different colleges and people have different routines, and I saw the people a few times, but when people don't invite you to things, after a while, like, you know there's nothing wrong with you really, but there has to be something wrong with you, otherwise you would be invited to these things. It doesn't really make sense unless, well, apart from people just forget you, or you're that kind of like shadow person in classes where you're just kind of there, but people don't really care, or they think that because you haven't asked, you don't want to do it. But it's just like, how am I meant to ask if there's in some cases, if you don't ask, you don't get. But you can't like constantly ask about like being a part of things that aren't even taking place. Like, it's like give and take. Like, some people have to ask. You have to ask for things you want, but when it's things like events, people have to ask you if they're going or they've organised it. They have to ask you. Like, it's ridiculous if you're asking about an event that you don't even know if it's even happening. That doesn't make any sense. And that's talking about like like large scale things like there's like 6 or 7 plus people. Not like if you want to go over to someone's house, because obviously before you ask about that situation isn't planned, is it? That's not going to happen. God, I'm blabbering on. Friends, it's difficult. You always want them to be your friend, and then they're not. And you don't know why, because you're still trying to be their friend and they don't care. They don't seem to care. Or they have someone else who is basically you and they've replaced you, so someone else who's closer to, either lives closer to them or is more like a larger part of their life now, so like they work with them or they're like in education with them, and they're basically you, but they're there and you're not. And therefore they don't need you anymore. Because they have another version of you who's just basically someone else. Very similar, but obviously looks different and has different opinions and stuff. But life is hard, and I don't know why. Nobody knows why.